when you struggle in medical school, you've already figured out how to pick yourself back up. Because there are lots of students that they struggle in medical school. It's the first time they've struggled, and they don't know how to pick themselves back up. Ask Dr. Gray Pre-Med Q&A brought to you by Blueprint MCAT. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am wonderful. What can I help you with?
So I was wondering, I have a pretty unique situation. I was wondering what my chances are in getting into medical school, whether or not it's something I should still continue to pursue. So I used to be in the military, in the Air Force, and that came to an abrupt halt due to a medical condition that I received. So I was taken out due to disability, and that caused a wave of problems continuing forward because I joined the military at age 18, and that's all I ever knew.
Yeah.
And I relied heavily on that. So having to change and transition to the real world, I guess, was very hard for me. And my grades took a hit for an extended period of time because I relied on the income from the GI Bill as well as working alongside taking classes. So I was running into a lot of problems academically and financially. So I was trying to juggle a lot. And this was a prolonged period of time. And again, my grades took a huge hit. And once I was able to get the support that I needed and the mentorship that I needed, I was able to excel significantly. And it's been great now. I'm at a university, a different university that I've been at for almost 3 years now, and have a 3.9 GPA, and everything looks great. I've had tons of new opportunities as far as like research goes, community engagement, volunteering, all the good stuff that I've wanted to do but couldn't do back when I was dealing with a lot of stuff. So, so I just wanted to know if this unique type of situation is something that will make or break my journey into medical school.
So I'm trying to figure out what's unique about your journey. You struggled in school, now you're doing better.
Right. But I guess it was like an extended period of time. It's just, I haven't heard of something like that before.
Yeah. I hear it all the time. So you are definitely not alone. There are tons of students, regardless of the military side of it, right? Which is unique, but not really unique. I talk to military vets all the time who want to go to medical school. The fact that you were med boarded out of the military, again, that doesn't really factor into anything other than it's kind of led you down this path potentially. And so let's ignore that. Really, it sounds like your big focus is I struggled in school for a little while. I fixed that issue, and now I'm doing well. That's your journey. That's the story of a lot of students. 18-year-old student goes off to college, is like first time away from mom and dad. They're like, oh gosh, like, there's lots of alcohol around here. I'm gonna get involved in this sorority fraternity life and go down the wrong path for a couple of years, and then I figure it out. So I think ultimately, at the end of the day, the context for you is you struggled. You had reasons for those struggles. You've fixed that struggle. You have a 3.9 GPA now. Obviously, if you add in the bad grades from before, it's going to be lower than that. And that's okay because your upward trend is phenomenal. And so you have a lot of story, a lot of context behind this journey that you've been on that doesn't make it bad. It just makes it your story.
It definitely has been a struggle, but knowing how far I've gotten, it's very reassuring. But I was just very curious about how that would look in a med school's applications and how they would review all of that and whatnot.
It would look like you have overcome.
That's great. Yeah, because definitely has been a journey, and stayed strong, and this is something I really want. So um, really tried my best, and it's been paying off.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's the perfect example of why we can't just look at a year's worth of grades or 2 years worth of grades or even 4 years worth of grades and say, ooh, you're capable of doing well in medical school or going to medical school, or you're not capable of going to medical school, because there's context around each journey that is different for everyone. And so for you, the context was you didn't have the right support, you didn't have the right structure, you didn't have the right whatever, and so you didn't do well in school. And then you figured out the support that you needed, the structure that you needed, and everything else, and now all of a sudden you're flourishing. So it's the perfect example of what I talk about all the time, of like, you can't just look at one thing and go, oh, like, you're not going to go to medical school. And almost anyone can get to medical school. You put the time and effort and figure out how to best support yourself through this journey.
Right. That's great. Yeah, I would agree too. And I've also used Mapped. I have watched some of your videos before, and I thought Mapped was a pretty unique tool, so I decided to give it a try.
Awesome.
And it painted a great picture. The graph painted a great picture of that journey. And I look at it every day, and it reminds me of where I started and where I'm at now. And to me, it looks fantastic. It reminds me of everything that I've had to overcome, and where I'm at now. So I really do think it's a fantastic tool.
I love it. I love it. What else can I help you with?
That was pretty much it. I think I'm doing what I need to do.
Okay.
I've been blessed to be able to volunteer at the VA. I get some shadowing opportunities there. Mm-hmm. I'm in Alaska, so a lot of Alaska Native health is mm-hmm. a part of my community engagement. So I shadow at some of the Alaska Native hospitals here, which is fantastic. Great opportunity. More so specific to the WWAMI program here in Alaska. So
yeah,
that'd be great things to talk about if I get into some interviews over there.
Yeah. Is that kind of your number one goal, is the WWAMI program through UW?
Yes. Yeah. I really like Alaska. Alaska was my last duty station. Okay. And been starting to do more, trying to get to know my community more, and mm-hmm. the needs here, and Alaska Native health and rural health especially is needed. So I'm learning a lot from the Alaska Native Health Tribal Consortium over here.
Okay. So your grades are upward trend and doing as good as you can do there. You're getting clinical experience, it sounds like, shadowing, which is awesome. When are you planning on applying?
I think I will be ready next cycle. Okay. So when the applications open up in May, I will try to submit an application.
Okay.
I need to take my MCAT, and I think I want to take that in April.
Okay.
So I started studying for that this summer.
Okay.
So
what's the plan of action there, studying wise?
I'm studying with the Kaplan books.
Okay.
Some of the so I'm doing research here in Alaska, and some of my grant agencies have also given me some funding for studying for the MCAT.
Awesome.
So they were able to supply me with the Kaplan books. So very thankful for that. So I'm using the Kaplan books, and I've heard UWorld was a good practice tool. So I may test myself with that.
Yeah, UWorld is fantastic. The one downfall with UWorld is that it's just a question bank, and they're not full-length exams. So I would highly recommend, one of the biggest mistakes that students make is not taking full-length exams. So the AAMC full-length exams are kind of like a must-take. They have 4 scored. I think 4 at this point. It's always changing. I always forget. And then 1 unscored exam. So 5 total full-length exams. if you can swing it, well, for free, you can get a free Blueprint full-length exam just by signing up for a free account. If you haven't taken a diagnostic yet, I highly recommend just going and taking the Blueprint diagnostic. It's a half-length exam. That's for free, and then you get full-length one for free as well. So again, big mistake that students make is not doing enough full-length exams and practice questions. So if you can swing some of that, make that put that into your study schedule, that would definitely help.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely will do that alongside my regular anticipated plan, actually.
Yeah, awesome. What else? Anything else?
I think that's it. I think I'm well prepared now. I have a great support system now, so they're able to help guide me through. But again, just still looking back, it's a very it's an insecurity that I have, that I started out very rough, and knowing the competitiveness of medical school, it's kind of setting me back a little bit.
Medical school is competitive, but you don't have to be perfect to get in. All you have to do is show that you're capable of doing well in medical school by getting good grades in undergrad. And again, that the good grades doesn't have to equal I have a 3.9 period, end of story. It could be I have a 3.9 my last 3 years of school. So on top of having a 2.0 my first year of school, your overall GPA may not be super sexy, but that upward trend tells a story all by itself, and it shows perseverance, it shows dedication, it shows all the hard work that you're putting into it that's going to make a difference as well and give lots of context to the admissions committees. And they're going to be able to see that when you struggle in medical school, you've already figured out how to pick yourself back up. Because there are lots of students that they struggle in medical school. It's the first time they've struggled, and they don't know how to pick themselves back up. And you've already showed that.
Yeah, and I've extended that with being a peer mentor. So
that's awesome.
That's another thing that I'm very passionate about is I'm a peer mentor, and I often share my story with some students who feel that they're lost pretty much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, be fantastic. I'll be rooting for you from the sidelines.